It's essential to recognize that even with the best intentions and tireless effort, real change only happens when an individual is open and willing to embrace it. Epictetus, an ancient philosopher, once stated that it is our reactions to events, and not the events themselves, that shape our feelings and perceptions. This wisdom is extremely relevant when it comes to helping others. You, with your generosity and dedication, have always been available to support those in need. This is an admirable quality, especially in today's times, where altruism often seems scarce. However, it is crucial to understand that regardless of the purity and intensity of your support, if the person in question is not ready or willing to change, the desired transformation may not occur. In light of this, before you channel your energy and time into situations that might be irredeemable, join us in this video. We'll explore signs that you might be trying to help someone who is not open to that help. We'll discuss 9 different profiles of people who, for various reasons, might not be receptive to assistance and often need to face their challenges individually. We invite you to subscribe to our channel for access to more enriching content like this. Now, let's dive into the first profile of a person you might be advised to quietly distance yourself from. First, we address people who live in false realities. These individuals drift into a world of their own fabrications, where illusion is embraced as truth. Far from seeking self-awareness, they choose to hide their insecurities and fears under the veil of comforting fantasies. These alternate realities serve both as a refuge and a prison, distorting reality to fit their expectations and desires. The brutal honesty with oneself, a pillar of Stoicism, is traded for the safety of living in a world where uncomfortable truths are excluded. This dance with reality costs the individual's authenticity. When the masks fall and the harsh truth is revealed, the question arises, are these constructed realities sustainable, or will we inevitably face our fears? Reflecting on these false realities is an invitation to reassess our own truths and strive to live a life more aligned with reality, despite its imperfections. The Stoics remind us of the importance of confronting our flaws to evolve. However, these individuals are so immersed in their fictional narratives that they become deaf to external perceptions. Their minds alter reality, filtering it through emotions, not as it truly is. Often this pattern stems from traumas or a pursuit of acceptance, leading to the creation of an illusory refuge for emotional survival. Helping them is challenging, as they have built impenetrable mental fortresses. Even in the face of concrete evidence, they twist facts to fit their truth. Genuine change requires acknowledging flaws in their reasoning, which often necessitates professional psychological support. This reality is reflected in current political debates, where people cling to their beliefs, overlooking logical flaws and contradictions, maintaining the conviction that they are right. This first profile represents a complex and multifaceted challenge in the journey of offering help and support. The second profile to be addressed are the opportunists. The gift of deeply understanding others' feelings is one of the noblest human faculties, a virtue that the Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, always valued. Seeing the world with empathy and welcoming others' feelings with a heart free from prejudice is a sign of spiritual greatness. However, this very virtue can be misinterpreted by some, seen as an opportunity for exploitation. There are those who, distorting the concept of empathy, see in others' generosity a weakness to be exploited, disguising their selfish intentions with a mask of friendship. Discerning between a true friend and a false ally requires careful observation of their actions. A genuine friend seeks support in times of real need, reflecting a mutual exchange of respect and care. In contrast, opportunists manifest through a constant pattern of requests and favors, often for trivial matters or ones they could resolve on their own. The frequency and nature of their demands are clear indicators of their real intentions. When interacting with others, it's crucial that empathy doesn't blind us to their true intentions. We must balance the generosity of the heart with the prudence of the mind, ensuring that our compassion is well applied and directed towards those who truly value it and reciprocate equivalently. Some individuals have an almost artistic ability to induce guilt in others. They may initially praise your qualities, followed by a request disguised as an appeal to friendship. While it's normal to ask for help occasionally, opportunists do this constantly, even in situations they could resolve on their own. They do not respect your time and often make you feel wrong for refusing. Even after numerous assists, they do not change, as they believe there will always be someone to bail them out. Therefore, it's advisable that you consider distancing yourself from these individuals without remorse, prioritizing yourself and your own responsibilities. If you've made it this far, comment, "I'm focused and today's date," because you are truly in pursuit of wisdom and growth. Let's continue. The third profile to explore is that of the egocentric, people who seem to believe that the universe revolves around their existence. Egotism, this fascinating and sometimes exhausting facet of human nature, leads us to encounter individuals whose lives revolve exclusively around themselves. They live under the false impression that every event, every twist of fate, has some direct relation to their existence. Consider this situation. You're sharing your frustrations about chaotic traffic, and the egocentric person minimizes your experience with a kind of disdain because they weren't affected by the same problem. Or, when you share an achievement, like a new job, this person quickly casts a shadow over your good news, complaining about their own stagnant professional situation. This attitude can be seen as a type of emotional vampirism, where your energy and joy are drained to fill the insatiable void of the egocentric. What should be a balanced conversation turns into a monologue focused only on the feelings and opinions of this person. The question arises, is it worth staying close to someone so absorbed in themselves? And do we have the inner strength necessary to demand that this person recognize and value the feelings of others? It is vital to understand that no matter how much we try to help someone in their self-development, if the person is not open to change, they are likely to remain stagnant in their habitual behaviors. Similarly, if we are on a path of personal growth and encounter people who flood us with negativity, they can be a significant obstacle in our progress. At times, wisdom lies in knowing when to protect oneself and possibly distance oneself from those whose presence is no longer beneficial. Emotional self-defense, in this context, is not just a choice, but a necessary strategy for psychological survival. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook now, Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. The fourth profile pertains to those who do not acknowledge their flaws. These individuals shirk responsibility for their actions, never apologizing or admitting mistakes. They exhibit a notable lack of self-criticism and humility, virtues that philosophers like the Stoics deem essential for personal development. For them, the fault always lies elsewhere, never within themselves, attributing negative outcomes to bad luck instead of introspection and acknowledgement of their own shortcomings. These people live in a world where the reflection of their actions seems distant, a universe where they are never responsible for their adversities. This way of thinking directly challenges Stoic teachings, which value self-criticism and humility as pillars of personal growth. The Stoics teach us that we should face our faults with the same serenity with which we accept the designs of nature. As Seneca advises, we should not consider our vices as part of us, just as we do not consider diseases as part of our health. When confronted with challenges, we must remember that evil is not absolute, as long as we do not let it dominate our actions. People who flee from responsibility for their actions exhibit a resistance to looking inward, to recognizing that imperfection is an inherent characteristic of the human condition. The Stoics urge us to take full responsibility for our actions and understand that error, once acknowledged and reflected upon, can be a powerful teacher. In the face of failure, instead of seeking someone to blame, Stoic philosophy guides us to investigate internal and external causes with equal consideration. Epictetus emphasizes that we are disturbed not by things themselves, but by our view of them. In this case, the view is a clear denial of one's contribution to the problem. In trying to assist such individuals, we should reflect on Marcus Aurelius's words: "The best way to avenge is not to be like them." We understand that in certain situations, our effort is better applied to self-improvement and practicing Stoic virtue than trying to change those unwilling to change. When we decide to distance ourselves, we do so not with bitterness, but with the Stoic understanding that our inner peace and personal progress should not be compromised by others' obstinacy. As Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the most valuable good we possess, and sometimes this freedom means stepping back from those who are firmly anchored in their errors, choosing a path of self-awareness and serenity. The fifth point addresses those who do not make plans for the future, opting instead to live in constant complacency with the present. This stance is contrary to Stoic principles, which, while valuing living in the here and now, also emphasize the importance of preparing for the future with conscious actions in the present. Stoic philosophy encourages us to accept and value the present moment, but without neglecting the natural flow of time and the constant change of circumstances. Seneca, a prominent Stoic thinker, stressed the need to use all our ability to foresee the future, even while fully concentrated on the present. This implies that preparing for the future should be an extension of the effort and attention we dedicate to the now. Wishing for people to recognize and develop their potential is a manifestation of human compassion. However, according to the Stoics, each person should be capable of identifying and utilizing their own capacities. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic, asserted that our ability to face different situations is proportional to the nature of those situations. This suggests that we have the capacity to influence our future through our present actions. Motivating someone to plan for the future is not to deny the existence of anxiety or other challenging feelings, but to understand that they are part of the human experience. Stoic philosophy doesn't promise to eliminate anxiety, but offers ways to manage it. Learning to live with these feelings without being dominated by them is one of the challenges posed by the Stoics. Epictetus reminds us that it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but the way we interpret them. When we see someone without plans for the future, we might interpret this as a waste of potential. However, it is crucial to recognize that each individual has their own pace and trajectory of development. While we encourage and support others in their growth, we must also accept that the decision to plan or not for the future is personal and should be respected. We maintain the hope that in due time, each person will find their own path to move forward. The sixth profile examines the challenge of dealing with people who are persistently pessimistic. In Stoic philosophy, this attitude is viewed as counterproductive, as Stoics value the cultivation of a resilient mindset in the face of adversity, transforming negative perceptions into something constructive. Seneca, a prominent Stoic, advised that we should learn from our experiences, using difficulties as opportunities for growth. He stated, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." This perspective suggests that the real challenge lies not in the circumstances themselves, but in our reluctance to face them with courage and optimism. The tendency to focus exclusively on the negative runs counter to the Stoic practice of rational and objective reflection on problems. For the Stoics, the key to inner peace lies in controlling our reactions to external events, as emphasized by Epictetus, who reminds us that we should not be concerned with events outside our control, but rather with how we respond to them. Stoic philosophy also values the serenity that comes from gratitude and recognizing the positive aspects of life, even in difficult times. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of valuing the privilege of being alive, encouraging a mindful appreciation of life. In dealing with people immersed in pessimism, Stoic wisdom suggests that we offer support, but also protect ourselves from being affected by their negativity. While empathy is essential, we cannot impose changes on others. Each person must desire to change for themselves. The Stoics advise us to invest our energy where it can be most effective, which sometimes means preserving our own well-being instead of tirelessly trying to alter someone else's perspective. Therefore, it may be wiser to direct our efforts towards those who are open and willing to adopt a more balanced and optimistic worldview, to people who are willing to work on themselves and grow with the support offered in line with the Stoic practice of self-development. The seventh profile brings to light a vital issue in Stoic philosophy: personal responsibility. The Stoics argued that we have the power to choose how we interpret and react to life's events, a concept eloquently summarized by Epictetus. It's not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Individuals who consistently avoid taking responsibility for their actions, shifting blame to external factors or others, are neglecting a crucial aspect of personal freedom and growth, owning their choices and accepting the consequences thereof. For the Stoics, self-analysis and self-criticism are fundamental in character development and leading a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, emphasized the importance of looking inward and taking responsibility for our failures and progress. In his Meditations, he reflected on the need to examine his own actions and motivations instead of blaming others or circumstances. Thus, in trying to help someone trapped in a cycle of responsibility avoidance, the Stoic approach would be to encourage sincere personal assessment, urging the person to recognize what is under their control, their actions, reactions, and judgments. However, the Stoics also recognize that each individual must be willing to embark on this journey of self-knowledge. It's not something that can be externally imposed. Moreover, while we can offer support and perspective, the Stoics would advise us not to become overly disturbed by others' shortcomings or their refusal to change. We must accept that we do not control others' actions, only our own. Change must come from within, and often suffering and challenges serve as catalysts for introspection and the desire to change. Therefore, the hardship of learning from one's own experience, mentioned earlier, can be seen as a reflection of Stoic teachings that life's adversities are valuable opportunities for personal growth, and that often the most effective form of learning occurs through direct confrontation with the consequences of our choices. The eighth profile addresses people with expectations of unearned privileges, a stance that conflicts with the principles of Stoic philosophy, which focuses on hard work and self-development. Stoics teach that the true value of an individual stems from the cultivation of personal virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, not from innate privileges or expectations of special treatment. Epictetus emphasized that we should strive to be worthy of what we desire, and warned that the feeling of entitlement to something without corresponding effort is an illusion and a source of discontent. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, wrote about the importance of living in harmony with nature and not placing oneself above others, regardless of position. He reflected on the ephemeral nature of power and the need for humility. For the Stoics, the universe owes nothing to anyone. Events in our lives are the result of a complex web of causes and effects, and true rewards emerge from virtuous actions and hard work, not from unfounded expectations or demands. When dealing with people who harbor expectations of privileges, the Stoic approach suggests being an example of moderation and virtue, demonstrating the value of labor and justice through one's own actions. It is also advisable to encourage these individuals to reflect on their concepts of merit and justice, challenging them to consider what they truly deserve based on their actions, not their desires or expectations. The Stoics would advise avoiding negative emotional reactions to ingratitude or a sense of privilege in these people, remembering that each acts according to their own understanding. They would recognize that sometimes the direct experience of the consequences of unrealistic expectations can be the most valuable lesson these individuals can learn. The ninth profile discusses those who are resistant to learning and change, a stance the Stoics viewed as significant barriers to moral and intellectual progress. For Stoic philosophy, wisdom is not just a goal to be achieved, but a continuous process of personal development and refinement. This school of thought emphasizes the importance of introspection, honest self-assessment, and the ability to adapt and learn from experiences. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, advocated the need to be open to re-examining our beliefs and attitudes, as often it is these, not external events themselves, that lead us astray. He stressed that we should not fear self-correction, as true learning arises from the ability to change and improve. Marcus Aurelius also highlighted the importance of being receptive to new ideas and perspectives, avoiding obstinacy in our own opinions. When dealing with people who resist learning and change, the Stoic approach suggests not imposing transformation, but demonstrating it through one's own behavior. Moreover, Stoics would recommend practicing empathy, seeking to understand why these individuals cling to certain beliefs or behaviors, and approaching discussions about change in a respectful and understanding manner. However, Stoic philosophy also recognizes that there are aspects of life beyond our control, including the attitudes and decisions of others. Thus, it may be prudent to accept that, despite our best efforts, some individuals may need to find their own path to knowledge and change in their own time. This does not mean giving up on them, but respecting their journey and being available to help when they are ready for change. And as a good Stoic would say, worry less about convincing others to change and more about being an example of positive change. Want to find out how to achieve this? Take a look at the pinned comment. There's an exceptional ebook that will elevate you by making you see everything in a different way. See you in the next video. Stay with the Creator.